James, you're full of jokes today, aren't you? We have got the Cheetah Brothers. They are both over here, but it is very, very difficult to see them because they are laying in the long grass. And watch us what Craig does as he zooms out here. They completely disappear. There's one. The other one we can't even get a view of just yet because it is also laying in the long grass. We've just managed to find this one gap to get a decent shot. And it's quite interesting because all the guards that are coming into the sighting are trying to not drive over the top of the cheetahs. I'm just trying to see where the second one is. But how exciting is that? Now, like I said, Mike has just said to me, he said one is here and one is over there. So we took the over there spot. We'll try and figure out and get another look at the other. And isn't that exciting that both of the cheetahs have indeed made their return? You'll just have to take my word for it until they decide to wake up again. But how exciting? Because they've been separated for quite some time now. And it's getting to that point of the day now where it's nice and cool. And it wouldn't be surprising if these cheetahs were to get up and have a look around and go for a little bit of a patrol, perhaps mark territories. And I'm just scanning around at the moment to see if I can see any potential prey for them. But no, nothing obvious, no big herds of impala. But with this long grass, there could definitely be quite a few steenbok, maybe even common duiker lurking around here. But hopefully they do get up. But like I said to you earlier, there's a long list of standbys of guides that want to come to the sighting because we haven't seen cheetah for quite a while now. So as soon as we feel that there's pressure, we are going to have to try and pull out. But we'll try and hang around in the area and then see if we can sneak back in again. Maybe they're only going to get a little bit active a little bit later because the moon is still out and about and giving off plenty of light, which means that the cheetah will have another opportunity not to just hunt during the day, but also continue hunting a little bit later this evening. But you can see, I always feel sad for the cheetah and the jackals and the smaller predators, just because they can't seem to get a good rest like a lion rests or a leopard up in a tree, constantly looking over their shoulders. I'm trying to figure out where exactly the other one is in relation to this brother. Bobby from North Carolina, you're wondering if I've ever had an experience where a cheetah has decided to climb up onto my car. I haven't. Oh my goodness, and I don't know how I'd feel if I had one. There's obviously, I think it's the famous cheetahs, if I'm not mistaken, in the Serengeti that do that, often jump up onto the vehicle's hoods, or in South Africa we would say a bonnet, and they'll use them as vantage points and scan the areas, because when it is flat like this, and Craig, can we show everybody how long the grass is at the moment? Look at this. Now there's not many termite mounds out here, or even fallen trees. So for a cheetah to be able to see over this long grass and see what's in the distance is almost impossible. So you can imagine why they would want to just hop onto the top of a car where they'd be able to see much easier. But not many things for them to do out here, and let's hope that they don't decide to start climbing onto the vehicles. That would be just too close for comfort. Now I can't even tell you when they've eaten last because they're so... Well, it's very difficult to see at the moment. But I'm just happy that the two boys have made their return, and I'm honestly willing to wait them out, hoping that they do decide to, of course, get up and move along. But if you do have any questions for us, of course, we'd love to hear from you. Remember, #SafariLive on Twitter. If you have any questions, perhaps about cheetah, or just coming out on safari, or if you just want to have a chat, perhaps you relaxing at home, well, we're here for a chat too, so send those questions away. But it is magnificent as to how green everything has come. Can we actually zoom into Mala Mala? I just want to show you from the distance. Sorry, there's the aerial. Look at that. Look how long the grass is. Isn't that unbelievable? When last did you see so much greenery in this area? And it's long. The grass is up to about, I'd say, my waist, so just over a meter, about 3 feet. Look at that. And I mean, I don't know how many times we've actually recently been driving around on cheetah plains and just missed these cheetah completely. I think young Jess managed to find them They must have been moving, because I can't imagine she would have just passed them by and spotted them in the grass. We're not even on any of the roads anymore. We're right in the middle of the big open plains. The monotonous larks are singing. Ooh. Michelle, you're wondering if there's any female cheetahs with cubs around. I'm not actually sure. I haven't heard of any. I haven't ever seen a female. Oh, I lie. I have seen one female cheetah in the southern sector of the Sabi San. It was a young female that was quite skittish. Other than that, in this particular area, I haven't seen anything. So I'm not sure, but maybe around the western sector, so sort of towards Ulasaba, Leopard Hills, those properties. We don't get much of an update from that side, so there could easily be some cheetah around there. Maybe even on Londolozi or Singita, though I haven't actually seen any photos popped up on recent social media of young cheetah cubs. So I'm not actually sure. Definitely in the Kruger, there's a whole lot that hang around. If I'm not mistaken, there's a dam called Transport Dam, and there's often quite a few cheetah that hang around in that area. So that's quite nice. I haven't seen cheetah cubs for a very, 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 very long time. It has definitely been ages since I've last seen them. But maybe one day. Maybe in the near future. It's tough for them, though. I really do feel sorry, of course, for the cheetah being so low down on the predator hierarchy. They don't really stand a chance, especially with the leopard populations. I mean, those numbers are through the roofs. This has got the densest population of leopards in the whole of South Africa, in the Sabi San Private Game Reserve. And then, of course, the lots and lots of lions, and there's no shortage of spotted hyenas either. So if they catch something, luckily it's quite nice with these two boys. They're able to get a decent feed. But if they catch something like an impala, the two of them will devour it within a day or so, and then they can move on. And I think that's important for cheetah. And if I was a cheetah, that is the strategy that I would adopt, knowing that if I kill something large, I run the risk of getting it stolen. So but this is of course just me, and I know nothing about being a cheetah. But what I would think I would do is try and catch smaller prey. I'd be going for steenbok, I'd be going for common duiker, even scrub hares, because you can eat it within a couple of minutes, maybe a duiker an hour or so, and you've got a full belly, and then you can carry on without running the risk of running into and having this unnecessary conflict between predators. Afzal, you're wondering if cheetah are diurnal or nocturnal. Well, at the moment, we're actually seeing them moving around at night. You will see them moving around at night because we're just coming out of a full moon, so there's still quite a bit of light at the sky. But very much like wild dogs, cheetahs are more active during the day. And one of the reasons... Sorry, I'm just hearing strange noises coming from the bushes. One of the reasons for this is that, like we've been saying, is that unfortunately they're not the top dogs out here, as they sort of fall lower down in the hierarchy, so it's easier for them to move around and hunt during the day, while the bigger predators tend to come out and hunt at night. So it's a nice sort of in-between. So in this way, hopefully they don't have too much conflict with each other, keep bumping heads, but it's also impossible out here in the bush. It's inevitable that eventually a cheetah will bump into a leopard or a lion, or even a group of wild dogs. And wild dogs would also chase a cheetah around. It wouldn't be very fun for them. I keep hearing strange noises. I think there's obviously some elephants in the distance, and that's maybe what I'm hearing, the rumbling, but quite far away from here. We're going to see if we can get a better view of one of the other zebras, but I highly doubt it. We'll try. We're just going to have to play patience game, and hopefully they decide to wake up. But I'm going to send you back across to Djuma, which is far away from where we are, to Steph, to see how he's doing. Apologies for that. The gremlins are hitting us hard. What we're going to do now is we're probably going to move out from these cheetah because there's quite a few standby. So what I thought we would do is, I actually saw a big family of warthog at the Cheetah Plains Pan, which is not too far from here. And maybe we'll try and follow up on that elephant herd as well. So we'll spend a bit of time looking for other things. And then the other guides that are coming into the sighting will hopefully keep us updated as to the cheetah's movements. So we'll probably pop back onto a standby 4 or 5, somewhere around there. But we won't go far. so that we can come back in again. I think it's only fair to give everybody a quick view, and the view isn't great at the moment. So instead of sitting here, we'd rather get the vehicles in and out, because we are sort of limited to time that we can spend with them. But luckily for us, because of the cameras, we're able to come into sightings a little bit later without putting any lights or spotlights on the animals. We just increase the ISO, that type of thing, which gives us a picture like what we did with the wild dogs the other night. So hopefully that will work for us, and we can do that again. So let's move out. Let's let the guys get a better view, because there's only a couple of little gaps, as you saw, and we had one of the very small gaps that you could see just through the long grass. So we'll go out, we'll head around. We'll actually just quickly see if we can get another view of that other I don't know why I keep saying zebra. I mean, cheetah. Let's see here. Oh my goodness, it's so long. No, we can't even see anything from this angle. Literally can't see nothing. We need to see if we can get a better view of them though. And I've got good news for all of you. You're actually going to be able to see 2 cheetah now. How exciting! And not just one that's hiding in the grass. There we go. We'll just have a very quick look. They look like they're starting to wake up now, which is very exciting. It was well worth hanging around, but there they are, the reunition. No, that's not a word. They have finally reunited. I got too excited there and tried to put too many words together. But how fantastic is this? Now, I had a look at the brother with the murky eye, if you will. He's around, which is good. And I hope that they get up. They did a little greeting just now. They nudged heads and they were sitting up, and a bit of purring, which is the most amazing noise as well. So let's see. Hopefully now they'll get up and then they'll start walking and maybe looking for something. The moon hasn't risen yet, which is not good, because I was hoping the moon was going to come up quite soon so that we get a bit of life. And there they go, grooming each other. And it's really amazing that we see this coalition of males on a regular basis, and I'm sure that they're happy that they found one another again, because it was quite some time where they were separated, and you could definitely see that they were distressed. Everywhere they went, they were constantly looking for each other. And it must have been amazing. I would have loved to have seen the moment that they'd spotted each other from the distance. I'm sure they hope that that doesn't happen again. But in case you're wondering what happened to them, it sounded like I think it was the Styx pride, if I'm not mistaken, may have chased them around a little bit. And during all of that commotion, or it could have been the Torchwood pride, it was some lions, and they got separated. And of course, they're not going to turn around and fight back and try and chase off lions. All they're going to do is stick their tails between their legs and run for their absolute lives. And they must have been chased around quite a bit, because, as you know, the cats have got incredible sense of smell, good hearing and fantastic eyesight too. So normally it would be quite easy, goodness gracious, Tayla, quite easy, I must be dehydrated, for them to relocate each other again, even just by their smell. But they're obviously chased so far away from each other, and two complete different areas, perhaps two complete different directions, that by the time they realized that they were not with each other, they went, oops, this is a bit too far. Michael, you were asking when they were reunited. I'm actually not certain. As far as I'm aware, and this is the first sighting we've had of them together, but, you know, like I said, this grass is so long. They could have been here for the last couple of days, even the last few weeks. And with it being so hot during the day, as most cats will do, is if they do lay in the shade, even though cheetah are more active during the day, they still like to rest up, especially if they've made a couple of foiled attempts. It's, just help guide them. We're just helping, I think Sean's just trying to figure out where the cheetah are. He can't quite see them just yet. So I was just guiding with my hands as to where they were. But he should get a glimpse of them now. I don't think he's seen them. Oh, there we go. Just helping him. I think his tracker's just spotted them. Now it's very, very awkward. And this is, again, where we're so lucky, is because we can zoom right in and get a good close look. Because if you sit where I'm sitting and see what I'm seeing, it's a completely different view to what is coming out on screen. So we're exceptionally lucky over here. So I'm not certain. So they could have joined up ages ago. But I'll have, you know what I'll do is I'll actually have a chat. I'll try and find out from Shanae from Nkoro, because the cheetah seem to pass through Nkoro quite a bit. So hopefully she'll be able to give us a bit of insight as to when these boys reunited, or perhaps this is the first time. Maybe it was just in the last couple of days. But it was interesting because their behavior definitely changed. They normally spend quite a bit of time in Mala Mala, of course, on cheetah plains and coral. They go into Torchwood occasionally too. But they kept walking up and down. They were going from the south to the north to the east, a little bit further west, and just continuously going up and down, hoping that they'd come across each other's scent and then lead back to each other, which has finally happened. But look at that. As Craig pans like that, they completely disappear in the long grass. Isn't that just absolutely amazing? And the bush is looking really good at the moment. It's not too green. I always find when the grass is really, really green after the first sets of rains, it looks a bit artificial. It looks like we've got some irrigation system set up and we put it on every night. So this grass is looking a little bit more natural. But of course everything is natural out here. We are not watering any of the plants or anything along those lines. It's just from the rain. But it's nice. You can see the common finger grass and the crow's foot grass has all changed slightly more yellow, which is quite lovely now. Now, Leslie, a fantastic question from you. You're wondering, would these brothers fight if over a female that was in estrus? I'm sure they would. I'm sure it's very similar as to a lion's. Now, I haven't actually had the opportunity of watching too many opportunities with cheetah because there's such big spaces and they do move around quite a bit depending on what's coming into the area. But I can imagine it would be very much like lions. I don't know if as aggressive, because those Birminghams we've seen before many times fighting over the females. There'll definitely be a bit of a squabble. You might find again one will be more dominant for a little bit, might have a bit of an argument, and then the other will be a little bit more dominant than the other one. Maybe they even get into a bit of a fight and one says, right, you get gone, you go and sit in that corner, I'll take care of this girl this time round. But now they've gone to sleep again. Wake up, boys. Wake up, gentlemen. Oh no, they obviously were just licking their paws and kept looking every now and then like they're tucking their heads underneath their paws. Looks like they're just doing a good groom. Come on now, you've been grooming for a couple of minutes. We didn't come here for a haircut. We came to see you boys in action. So you might see flashes every now and then. That's from the other vehicles that are in the sighting with me. They're obviously trying to take pictures, and it is quite dark now. And it's not the greatest light anymore for photography, sadly. Come on, boys. Up you get. You look like you want to. But they're getting there. Slowly starting to show more and more interest in the things around them. I'm also just checking, haven't seen any herds of impala, just wildebeest. So they could have been chasing around animals during the day, which they would have done. I mean, they'll get up, they'll attempt to stalk and try and get within 50 meters or so from their prey if they can, ideally, and then sort of rush at their prey and choose a potential victim. But sometimes that doesn't always go according to plan. And they can attempt to hunt, you know, in one day I'd easily say 10 or 15 times with rest periods in between. And it's the same thing with the other predators, is they're not the greatest hunters. At this time of the year, they'll have it a little bit easier because of all the young lambs that are around at the moment, particularly with the breeding herd of impala. But they'd even be able to go for a young wildebeest calf, which is maybe why the wildebeest earlier were so jumpy. Possibly they've been chased around already today. But you wouldn't want to get on the wrong end of a very angry mom wildebeest, because I don't think she'd have any time for a cheetah. I'm sure she'd rush at it and charge at it too and try and chase them off. Yes, thank you, boys. This is what we've been waiting for, and this is the patience game, of course. Isn't that beautiful? See? Spotting something. There we go. They've seen something. What have they seen? Now, their eyesight is phenomenal. Oh, I think I see impala. Oh God, this is going to be fantastic. Goodness, go, go, boys. Go, go, boys. Who's running in the long grass? And off we go. Are you ready? There's something running in the grass at the back. I couldn't see what it was, but we need to keep up with them. So off we go. Craigie, hold on. Now we're going to give them a bit of space, of course. I don't know what I saw running. I don't know if it was baboons, but something quite small was running through the grass. And that's what they'd spotted. At first I thought it was maybe the wildebeest, but I didn't see, unless it was just the calves running and you're just spotting them a little bit through the grass. What I'll do is I'll give Sean the road and we'll try and go around them, because I'd prefer to see them coming towards us, and I'm sure all of you would prefer that too. There they are. So we're just going to keep moving, because as you know, cheetah can move at quite a speed. We'll stop here for a moment. Look at that. Isn't that stunning with all the long grass surrounding them? But whatever was running in the distance has now gone into the thicker vegetation, which is a bit more difficult for these cheetah to sort of hunt. They're obviously specialists in hunting animals in the open area so that they can reach their top speeds and catch animals that way, rather than a leopard or a lion, which are actually really well able to adapt to their vegetation type. So they can hunt in the open and long grass, they can go and hunt in the wooded areas too. I'm going to keep up with them again, Craig, so I'm going to jump in front. We're going to catch them on the road. And just jump in front. Here we go. Very nice. I'm just having a little listen very quickly. No, I can't hear anything. So I'm not sure again what was running off in the distance. It was strange. I think it could have actually been baboons. The way that they were running was interesting through the long grass, but it's quite dark now. We're in that sort of twilight period, that dusk period, which makes it quite tricky for us to make out what there is, but hopefully something like that pops out in this long grass again. So, and here we go, witnessing it firsthand. Is that the cheetah don't only hunt during the day, but they can hunt in the poorer light conditions. And like I keep saying, is that the moon is still, it's what, 2 days after full moon. So they've still got quite an opportunity to utilize it, but it hasn't risen just yet. I think it will only rise much later. They're excited. They don't look particularly fat, so I don't think they've had a meal recently. But focused. Look how they're all looking in different directions. We've got the cheetah closest to us, looking further more north, and then the other cheetah brother looking towards that area where the movement of those animals had come from, or where they'd first spotted them. But keen sense of hearing, listening to every grass rustle in the slight wind, every bird, every frog chirping. And they've got an interesting technique when it comes to hunting. So often we always see with the lions and leopards, they need to get within, 20, 30 meters of their prey. Leopards even a little bit more so, a little bit closer. And they stalk and they're as quiet. Whereas cheetah, and we're lucky if you can see it, you saw it right there. They need to get to their prey, they've spotted it, so they often rush at their prey. They were lucky there because they could continue running and they would not have been spotted in that long grass at such a distance. And that was, of course, just a cheetah jog. I mean, typically they can reach the maximum speed of about 70 miles per hour, which is unbelievable. When they just get going, before they really give it their all, you're looking at about between 35, 40 miles per hour. But they can't keep it up for long. And that's where the wild dogs, again, have the upper hand. And I think are a better predator than a cheetah. And just because they've got that stamina on their side. And they move too, those wild dogs. And they're waiting for any sign. Chitwa, now you've asked what is the population of cheetah in the Kruger. Again, I was looking the other day for the latest census of how many of the various species in the Kruger National Park, and I haven't seen a recent one that has been released, so we'll have to keep digging. But cheetah, just in the Sabi Sand, there's not very many of them. I don't think that there's more than about, let's take a rough guess here, I think there's probably only about 20 or 30 cheetah in this particular area that we're driving in. I'm sure there's only a few hundred that are left in the greater Kruger. I can't even remember what the last statistic I read was, but I was looking the other day for a recent one. Maybe we'll be able to get an accurate one. Because the other day we were discussing leopard populations, and I think a couple of you had actually had a look on the big World Wide Web for some statistics, but they are so varied. And some people were saying there's 1,000, some were saying 2,000, some were saying 500. So you just don't quite know. So we'll have to look for an accurate one. But it's difficult to do census populations of animals. It's not the easiest thing. I've been a part of a couple. You do it from helicopters, you do it from walking around, and you do it from the vehicles too. And you do it over a couple of days, and then you'll try and get an average. So it's not always completely accurate. But when I was down at Sabi, we saw 6 different cheetah coming in from Kruger and then moving around on the Sabi Sand. Most of them were males, but there was one young skittish female that we would see. Now, Jen, you were wondering if cheetah do not call like lions to locate each other. So no, unfortunately, cheetahs, they aren't able to do a big roar, which can travel a number of kilometers away, which is one of the easiest ways that lions will locate each other, of course, as well as through scent. But you'll hear cheetah purring. It sounds like a motorbike, if you've ever heard it before, which is quite impressive. But here they are, they're smelling, and I've actually seen these boys mark up against this tree before. So let's see if they're going to urine spray. Moment, just having a quick sniff, rubbing their heads up against the tree. Again, all the cat species have got those glands in their cheeks, which acts as a scent gland too. Brother getting a fright at scraping the grass. Now you can just see how jumpy they really are. The smallest thing will make them turn and bolt in the distance. Craig, can we have a very quick look at the sunset? I know the cheetah are walking away. I just want to show you how beautiful the light is at the moment, and you can also see how dark it gets as we go across. But look at that. Isn't that lovely? Oh. We're going to see if we can stay with these cheetah for a little bit longer. It's a bit it's getting quite dark now. But we might be able to keep our distance and see. But I'm going to send you across to James now, who seems to have popped on to Arathusa.